folks, Bang Bang here. We want to talk to you today about a new pistol that we received recently from Taurus USA. And we want to talk to you about this particular firearm right here because we're pretty familiar with the Tauruses. We shoot the Tauruses in rimfire challenge, and we shoot them in also rimfire falling steel. So this one, we wanted to review it to tell you some of the qualities of this firearm as compared to some of the full-size ones, which we have a competition one and we have an iron-sighted one. So on this particular one, there's a couple things I already noticed right out of the gate. Is it's set up for an MOS, which means an optic gun. And you can see right up on the top where you remove them 2 screws and then you'll drop in your optic right there. You're not going to be able to use a full-size optic with a big glass window. You're going to have to use some kind of micro. So we have a micro Romeo that we're going to use for testing purposes. And the big thing that I noticed on this firearm is the cuts, which is reducing weight, which is going to make that slide function much better with an optic on top of it. We have tried the optic on several other guns before, and even with the micro on it, they just didn't cut it. So we can't wait to get it out on the range. But another big plus is it can be a host with this adapter for a suppressor or a moderator. The next thing I would say is the magazine capacity. It comes with these smaller mags, but you can take this extension and get what is similar to a full size. So if you can imagine this moved further up, you're going to have almost like a full size firearm type grip with this firearm. And these are all interchangeable. These are just from the Tauruses that are here on the table. And then the one that comes with it, of course, is the smaller one.
All right, so a couple of things to talk to you about this new TX22 Compact. So we'll look at some of the tech stuff. So we, like Mike had showed you, the magazines are obviously smaller. The gun is obviously smaller than the regular full-size TX or a TX competition. Mike, if you'll hand me your open gun there. And we'll hold these up and let you see, you know, how much different in size these guns compare out to. The sights on the gun are not too bad. They're not too bad for what they are. They look good. They remind you something of kind of a Trigicon profile. They have a U-notch profile on the back and a basic front sight on there that has a dot. All in all, pretty good setup. Just like the other Tauruses, it takes down very similar. It's just we're going to make sure it's clear. We're going to pull the trigger, pull slide back, slide and barrel assembly come off, and here is your slide and barrel assembly. It's just, you can see, compared to like a regular TX, it's all a lot shorter. So we'll take it out, lay this out, and let you look at it so you can see what all the components look like. And we will get into the slide for a minute. This is what Mike was talking about, being light and more user-friendly. This thing here, having all the lightning cuts in it to get the slide lighter, is going to make it more reliable with an optic mounted on it, if that's the direction you choose to go. So if you can see, we'll get you from the bottom, from the top, and basically from the side. The other thing is you have a 3.6-inch barrel compared to the barrels in the Taurus that are 4, 4.5 in the different models. And this barrel is threaded, like Mike mentioned, so you can use this attachment to put on your muzzle brakes, suppressors, whatever you care for, and threaded items for your gun. If you're a suppressor user and you want to keep all your ammunition quiet, this 3.6-inch barrel will do it for you.
You know what I like about this gun too is just out of the box, it's got clean lines. It looks like it's pretty well made considering the cost of it. It's cost effective. It's a striker fire type firearm. So if you're into other striker fires, this makes it's a no-brainer as far as a training tool that you can use, whether you're a firearms instructor or whether you're teaching that new person who's never shot. I don't suggest starting them out on center fire. You can start them out with this Compact 22. It's not overly cumbersome. It's not big and bulky. It's probably going to fit a little bit more smaller hands of the people that you might be teaching, like kids or young adults or ladies, which I think is a big plus. I think all around it, for the money, it seems pretty well made.
The part about those guns is they're larger, they're heavier, and those are set up, those guns, here, hold one up here, Mike. I mean, these guns were made, this is their competition model. These guns were made for competitive shooting. This gun is marketed more toward the casual plinking shooter, the person who just wants to go out to the range and shoot with it. Can you compete with it? I think you can. I don't know how good you can compete with it, but I can tell you this, based on how good those guns have been to us and the history with the TXs that we've had that have all been great, I think you could compete with it. I would be interested to see how many people take these out and use them as competition guns. That's probably not our intention for the gun, and you'll see more of that when we get into our live fire video, and you'll probably see it with the accessories on it and doing all the fun stuff that we normally do. So this thing comes in retail, we're hearing it's about $300, something like that, depending on where you're at, what you want. And it's just one of those guns I think is going to be a great, great all-around pistol. One of the advantages of these Tauruses, we love the triggers on them. It's so hard to get guns out of the box that have good triggers on these guns. And even though, put your open pistol back up here for a second. So, or the limited pistol, it don't matter. So we'll take a look at this one. So here's his iron sight competitive pistol. And you can see that, you know, he's got the flat trigger upgrades and things on this one. But mechanically, these guns are identical. There was no change to the inside. And right from the box, you will get a fantastic trigger in one of these Tauruses. It's not as bad as some of the triggers you get in modern guns out there. So we'll get the trigger pull gauge out and give you a demonstration of how good this trigger is. Okay, so we got trigger pull gauge zeroed out, and we're going to give you, well, let's say 3 trigger pulls in this Taurus and see what happens.
And give them 3 in the competition gun, which basically all it has is a flat trigger in it. Nothing else was changed in it.
Got the first pull at 3 pounds and 11 ounces.
It's not bad for stock out of the box.
.0 pounds. So there's your example of that one. We'll give it one more just for good measure. .4. So it's going to vary quite a bit because this is a curved trigger and where you can land the trigger pull gauge at. And we'll compare it to a competition trigger.
Like I said, nothing's been done to that other than a flat trigger has been put in it. Nothing else has been changed.
And we'll do 2 or 3 on this one. So we got a clear gun. So now we'll take a few trigger pulls on this one. £2 pounds, 14 ounces. £2 pounds, 12 ounces. £2 pounds, 8 ounces. Something to keep in mind. This gun has been used, it's been shot, it's been broken in. Plus the geometry of this flat trigger aids in a better trigger pull than having one that is curved like this. That's why we like the flat triggers in general. So you can take this gun right out of the box. You can buy it. You can have right around 3 pound trigger pull for a striker fired gun, 100% safe, 100% usable. And I think it's going to be a great deal. We're hoping to get this thing out and shoot it in, say, I don't know, a few days. We got to wait for some good weather because it's cold, snowy around here right now. But that's all the tech spec we got for it. We can't tell you much more till we shoot it. So far, we're impressed. And we're going to put this Romeo 0 on it and get it queued up for you and get you out to the range. Mike, you want to have any closing comments about this thing?
Well, just stay tuned and look for the live fire stuff that we'll be doing. We're going to try and do some actual, maybe some drills. We're going to show you how it functions, and we're probably even going to put a suppressor on it. So stay tuned. Like, share, and comment.
See you guys.